Here we go now.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. I would say this is our weekly recap, but this is the first time that we're even recapping this show, Kimora, back in the Fab Lane. And for those that were expecting me to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence whether or not I'm going to recap it, or I probably will watch it because, you know, I'd like to give something a chance regardless. But based off the previews, based off what you guys have been saying, I'm on the fence. And I know you guys are saying, well, Kempire, can you watch it for us? Well, then y'all need to start running me something, because what's the benefit of me watching it multiple times and recapping it? I want to watch something that I enjoy and talk about, because you're not going to enjoy me saying, well, this happened and it was terrible. How would you rate it? A 2. Look, just based off the previews, and it seems like, and I saw someone just say this on X, Beverly Hills continues to give us a bunch of nothing, and everyone's like, yay. And I'm really interested to see what exactly they will bring this season. But based off of what I've seen from just from not the trailer, but just snippets from the episode, I'm like, okay. All right. But okay. Anyway, speaking of, before we even get into Kimora back in the Fab Lane, this won't be a long one, because the first 2 episodes, I felt like it was a really good start. They were short half-hour episodes, which I can appreciate. And that's what I liked about the original, you know, Life in the Fab Lane series that she had. I was a big fan of that. And that wasn't messy drama or toxic drama. It was really light, fun, energy, light, fun business. And yes, it had some serious moments, but it was like very pre-produced, but pre-produced in a good way. Like, I could go back and watch those episodes and be like, oh, this was really a really good time. But before we get to that, you may have seen yesterday that, sidebar, this is pre-recorded, just an FYI. For the one or two of you that, is this pre-recorded? Again, I don't understand what's the difference. You're getting the content. What's the difference? Okay. Oh, whether or not I see your comments, I will see your comments regardless. Okay. Anyway, back to this, because I do want to do a live recap of the Diddy documentary, Sean Combs, The Reckoning, because I have thoughts, but I'm not done watching it. So stay tuned. Yesterday, they filmed the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. And I said to you, I wonder whether or not they're going to film before or after. I assumed after the holidays, but it makes sense based off of where we are in the season. They're about to be on their big trip to Greece next week. So it makes sense for them to film the reunion now before the holidays. So they filmed it this week. We didn't see the fashions yet. I'm sure we will see them soon. But we did get to see their seating chart. That's what they're doing now. They're showing us the seating chart. So this is the seating chart for season 6's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. Bronwyn is sitting next to Andy Cohen. Did Lisa put this in her contract, like Kyle and some of the other housewives? that she must sit next to Andy Cohen because she, speaking of giving nothing, she gives nothing. But you know why she's sitting there? Because this entire cast makes her their storyline. They make her a focus. And I said, honestly, and this is no offense to you, Lisa, this is not your fault that they make you a focus. Honestly, there's nothing going on with Lisa. Lisa really didn't have much of anything this season besides them making Lisa an issue. Bronwyn, I'm not surprised is sitting next to Andy Cohen this season. I feel like Bronwyn, since her first season, well, this is only her second season, but right? I can't even remember. But I feel like she's been, it's only her second season. So I feel like, especially this season, she shared a lot of her personal story. She's been involved in a lot of different things. So I found it to be interesting that she's sitting next to Andy, especially how the season's rounding out. But I know sometimes it doesn't make sense to us, the seating chart, because we haven't seen the rest of the season. And by the end of the season, maybe it will make sense. Well, I give you, i.e., Real Housewives of Miami. That still doesn't make sense to any of us. What's her name? Stephanie. I had to literally think, I was like, wait, what is her name? Stephanie was sitting next to Andy Cohen. Made no sense. Still doesn't make any sense. But I told you the only reason why she was probably sitting there was because of her issue with Alexia. And it made sense for Alexia to sit there, especially with all the drama with Todd. Yeah, they have a Todd too there. Okay. Atlanta has a Todd. Well, had a Todd. And my goodness. Anyway, so this seating chart, I can't even argue it that it's bad, good. And I have very indifferent feelings towards the seating chart. Last season's reunion, Angie K was sitting right next to Andy Cohen. Now she's about to fall off the couch. Angie, I still think that you're great. I will say, though, the last couple of episodes, there really hasn't been a lot of Angie, but which is okay. I don't feel like you have to be in the mix of everything in the drama all the time. But I think that's okay, even though she was the one who brought the tea in regards to the kissing and the farting. And I love her relationship with Mary Cosby. Mary Cosby is over there. Whitney's about to fall off the couch. I don't know. Some of y'all love Whitney on the show, but I always feel like it's a reach when it comes to Whitney and her storyline and what she's talking about. Hence why I feel like she's always willing to call someone out for being in a cult or pills and alcohol and things like that. So if Whitney didn't come back next season, I wouldn't care. I mean, some of these people, if they didn't come back next season, I personally wouldn't care. Some of you would. I personally wouldn't care. But Lisa Barlow's sitting next to Andy, unless it's in her contract or it's the fact that everyone continued to focus on Lisa. I'm not surprised that Meredith is sitting right next to Lisa because I feel like they really have an alliance. Because how do you get back from this?
Yeah. Meredith can go f*** herself. I'm done with her. Because I'm not a f***ing whore and I don't cheat on my husband. Her and her dumb family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Wait, you can't. Because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes? Fake Meredith is a piece of I have your back and I'm offended by that. You that piece of garbage whore. I hate her. She's a whore. She's half of New York. She will f*** herself.
Mm-hmm. Yup. Look, yup. But look, whatever works for y'all. Whatever works for y'all. I'm just trying to pull up some information. Okay. So that's the seating chart. What do you guys think? Feel free to weigh in. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to weigh in and share your thoughts. Yesterday, we also posted a video about some interviews that Monique Samuels did, where she basically exposed Chris Samuels and some of what he's been trying to do in regards to her return. She claims that he was the one who leaked that footage of her and this other guy canoodling and the rumors of him being married. Okay. And then she also exposes Cookie and why her and Chris cut Cookie off a long time ago. Okay. So if you missed that video, mods, if we can post it in the chat, but you can find it here on my YouTube channel as well. So then there was that. Let's get into this because I'm not going to be here long because there's not a lot to say, and it's not because it's a bad thing. But I say that and then, I'll start ranting for many, many minutes. But today's Alive is brought to you by our friends over at Cash App. It's the holiday season, and unfortunately, scams are on the rise. I'm so excited to welcome Cash App as a sponsor of today's Live, and I've been using Cash App more recently than ever before. And I haven't realized the amount of new things that they've added to the app to secure my safety and your safety. Now more than ever, with the holiday and all these different scams that are out there, you want to make sure when sending money to your friends, family, or someone you owe money, easily and safely. Scammers know the holidays are busy for everyone, which can make us all targets for scams. That's why Cash App builds in protection to help keep your money safe while you're checking off your shopping list. If you're about to send money to someone for a deal that's too good to be true and Cash App flags it as a potential scam, they'll warn you before you send the money. Cash App also gives you an extra layer of protection with features like security lock. You can require a PIN, Face ID, or fingerprint to unlock your account and move money, so even if someone gets a hold of your unlocked phone at a holiday party, your money is right where you left it. Give yourself some peace of mind this holiday season and download Cash App. I've literally have utilized the Cash App feature recently a lot and noticed the new protections that they've added to the app. So of course, we've gotten you covered in regards to an exclusive code. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn additional cash. For real. Just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code SECURE10 in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. We all love free money, don't we? Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services are provided by Cash App's bank partners, prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Incorporated brand. And visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. More information on Cash App and your code will be available in the description. Yes. So welcome back to the channel. Be sure to check out more information on Cash App and everything Kempire available in the description. So let's get into Kimora back in the Fab Lane. If you were a fan or didn't even know, this would be a good opportunity for those that never saw Kimora's original reality show. Please understand, I think even in 2025, you will find it so enjoyable to watch. It's when reality television wasn't toxic and dark and they were just trying to have a gotcha moment. Speaking of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, so many people said, oh my gosh, Andy should bring Kimora on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We've talked about this before. And I said, Kimora, you don't want to do that because there was so much going on, especially during the time when she talked about it. I believe it was like over a year ago. She talked about being asked because they have asked because she lives the life. You could see from her own show, that big, beautiful palatial home that she's living in, the businesses that she's running. And what I've loved about Kimora always is the fact that her business sense. I think the smartest thing she ever did was do the reality show because it showed us that she wasn't just some dumb model or just married to a very rich man. Yes, did it open up an opportunity for her, but she stepped into that opportunity and made her brand bigger than her husband, her ex-husband's. So I think that the smartest thing she ever did was do reality television because it showed us her personality. She had a big, very interesting personality. She still does. It's kind of crazy that when you look at her now, and yes, she probably's got some work done, but that's some good work because it's sort of like, wow, you look even better than you did back then. But anyway, so I feel like her doing reality television back then really showed the world that she's a businesswoman and that she's serious about her business. And I think a lot of us watched it with like, wow, it's kind of cool to kind of get the behind the scenes. And yes, some of those moments that she had where she was tough on her folks and she was testing her folks, it was for reality television, but it was really interesting. And we've said this about when I used to watch Chrisley's Knows Best, there were a lot of pre-produced moments, but it was a very light, fun show that I think a lot of people miss when it comes to reality television. Right now, reality television, because of the people that produce it, if we're going to be honest, feel like the audience wants these gotcha moments. They want the Zeus of it all, but without doing as far as Zeus will go. Because I feel like Bravo does the same thing. It's just not to the level of Zeus, even though some people say y'all towing the line real close though. Just saying. But it was nice. As soon as they said that Kimora was doing this show and coming back, I said, I'm in. I'm ready. Because I remember, and that's the power of how you make someone feel. Because, and this goes with anything that you're doing, be it content creation, be it fashion, be it selling some sort of product. If you can invoke a feeling in someone, you will have a loyal customer, viewer for life. And that is what I feel about Kimora Lee. Look, she wasn't my favorite through the years. Like, there have been so many stories about Kimora Lee offline in regards to her behind the scenes and her attitude and things like that. And when I say attitude, not necessarily like a bad attitude with the people that she was working with, just the, like, you know, the Diddy of it all. You know, I remember there was a story where Diddy basically yelled at her and kicked her out the club because she was at the club pregnant. You know what I mean? So when they used to smoke in the club. Yeah, for the folks that didn't know, that there were days when people used to smoke in the club. I remember coming home where my clothes reeked of smoke. Not because I was smoking, was because in the club you could smoke. So you would come home and your clothes would reek of cigarette smoke. Ugh, I hated it. So when they banned it here in New York City, I said, happy days are here again. I'm just saying. I don't know about y'all. Do you guys remember that? Anyway, I'm so happy that that changed because the secondhand smoke of it all. Can you imagine how many people probably were affected from the secondhand smoke? Oh my gosh. Luckily, I didn't go clubbing a lot back in the day. I did my share. Mother has lived, but not to the point where some of y'all lived. Some of y'all was smoking in the club.
Poor baby.
I didn't mean that. But did I? Anyway, so backtracking. So, you know, there were stories about Kimora over the years. But again, I said doing the reality show gave people a different perspective on Kimora. I think it allowed people to respect Kimora as an actual businesswoman and not just an arm piece to an underage arm piece, allegedly, to Russell Simmons. But this is a really interesting time to watch her because her daughters that we watched on this reality show are all grown up. And that Ming Lee is the spitting image and personality, which I know for Kimora, you know how parents say like your child is going to do to you what you did to your parents? I think that's who Ming is to Kimora. Because I know Kimora is hard on her. She's like, you can't be doing, you know, I didn't drink and do this stuff. And, you know, I'm trying to teach professionalism in them. But I'm sure there was a little bit of you, especially if you 16 and running off with Russell Simmons, allegedly. So you did some things to your parents, okay? But since then, well, I don't even remember that. I didn't remember that Kenzo was born on the reality show. I completely forgot about that. But Kenzo, you know, that's the baby she had with Jaimon Hunshu. If I butchered that name, I apologize. You remember him from Amistad, right? It was Amistad. Good-looking man. She has beautiful children. But there was one extra kid there that I said, who's this kid? They said Gary Lee. And I was like, wait a minute. I usually keep up on the things. But they do explain. And this is what you have to give Kimora credit. Because those kids sort of grew up. And we didn't really know anything about them until she decided to share them on this show. So Gary she adopted him from Jamaica. And so he's living in the house. One of their childhood friends is living in the house. But Kimora has always been this person because Kim Porter's daughters, the twins, she's talked about how she's still very much in their lives. She steps in because Kim Porter was a best friend to Kimora. They were best friends till the day she died. So she's still like a mother to the twins. And it seems like her home is in a safe haven. One thing I have to say, watching the first 2 episodes of Kimora back in the Fab Lane, I was like, she's a good mom. And I'm not going to be critical of other mothers that we see on reality television, but it just oozes. Yes, do I feel like some of it is not, I'm going to say performative. It's not performative. I can't even say it's performative. I don't know what the word is. It's not performative, though, because I believe it's real. I do believe that she's a good mom. She loves her kids. It's just interesting to watch. that these kids are like, she's surrounded by these kids. No man in the house. She's got her good girlfriend that's been living with them since like the pandemic, who she's known for many, many years as well. So the first episode, though, the first episode of Kimora back in the Fab Lane is sort of her reintroducing us to herself and her life. So we're seeing, because she brought back Baby Phat, and apparently that's been doing fairly well. I'm just always amazed because you remember the Baby Phat era. I was too young. I mean, I wasn't wearing it's Baby Phat for females, but I remember the era. So I didn't know how big it was. I remember have siblings that would wear the clothes and things like that. So, but it was a huge moment. And I know she tried to relaunch it, and it's still here. It's still around. I believe that she could potentially be successful again in fashion in that way. Just because I feel like you did that before, why can't you do it again? You know what I mean? But I mean, she's also the two girls that she had with Russell Simmons, Ming and Aoki. They're all grown up. Aoki went on to graduate from Harvard. Ming graduated from NYU. As I mentioned before, I feel like Ming is a spitting image, both visually but also personality. She's a tough one, tough nugget to crack right there. She's a spitting image of Kimora, personality and everything. We also get to see Jimmy Jam, of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, the producers. Their daughter, she made a brief appearance. I'd never seen her before. Gorgeous. Ming doesn't know how to cook. Ming is hanging out with her fabulous life and doing her fabulous things. Look, we've talked about this before when talking about other reality or at least Nepo babies, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm okay, especially with children of color, Black children, living a life of luxury and privilege and not knowing how to cook, not knowing certain things. So Ming kind of exudes that sort of energy when it comes to how she's grown up. She's like, I've grown up with chefs. Why would I know how to cook? But there are some moments, I think in episode 2, where we see another side of Ming, and I'm like, that's Kimora right there. But Kimora's like, I'm trying to instill professionalism, because we have to also keep in mind, when Kimora was coming up as a model, as a teen model, she really had to grow up very quickly, because there was a particular point, I just watched this the other day, where she was on her own. Yes, she had some people that helped guide her, but her parents weren't with her. So she had to grow up very quickly. And one thing I've always respected about Kimora and what we got from her previous reality shows was the fact that she was always a professional. And she says she's trying to instill that within her daughters. Backtracking. So one of the things that I'm glad she decided to do this reality show on her own, as opposed to going on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, is because now she can control the narrative. Because we already know on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, those producers, those other ladies are going to be asking all questions. Why is Russell not here? Because he's running away from these lawsuits. Why is Russell suing your ex, suing you? Why is your ex going to jail for this? And look, do you want to hear about that? Probably. But for her kid's sake, for her, I was like, Kimora, I'm glad you decided to produce this show yourself, because now you can control what you want to share. And that's exactly what's happening. This is where I'm okay with someone controlling the narrative, because you don't have to share everything that you want on reality television. Just make it interesting. Yes, there could be a bunch of other things that are going on in your life, but if you can make an interesting show that's about the fabulous life that you're living back in the Fab Lane, where you're shopping, you're doing this, you're doing photo shoots, you're doing, you know what I mean? I'm okay with seeing that, although I do know what else is going on because the court documents are there, and maybe she'll talk about it because this is only the first 2 episodes. But there's been a lot going on, and I said I'm worried for you if you decide to go on Beverly Hills, because those women are going to set you up for the okie doke, and they will do anything to save the show, even if it means throwing you under the bus. Again, I think it was a smart decision to control the narrative of what you want to share on this show. And like she has like a whole house full of like teenagers, and she's got Wolfie. Wolfie, he's another Spitfire. So I know Kimora's just like, I can't with you, like the way you speak to me. What's going on right now? I believe that's how Kimora's always been a spitfire. She's always her mouth was always reckless. So I'm not shocked that one or two of these kids have a reckless mouth. So she's got the youngest one, Wolfie. That's the one she had with that man. Where is that man? Did he go to jail? I don't think he went to jail, right? I haven't kept up on that whole legal situation that I don't even know if I can call him her husband, because didn't we find out? Okay, so let's see, Kimora, is how you control the narrative, but you can't control what I know or remember. So didn't we find out the man was already married to someone else, but she didn't realize that, and they got married? So didn't that make her marriage null and void? Huh? Right? And I know you're probably thinking, Kempire, why don't we want to know about that? For some reason, though, I feel like she will at least talk about it. Maybe. A little bit? I don't know. So the first episode really is just her introducing us to everyone that's in her life, her business. Aoki has been away, but Aoki is going to be a part of the show because she's on the actual cover. So, let me actually show you the cover. Oh, can I show you? Oh, Lord. It's just, look, this is me doing this all at the same time, but I'm going to do it. But Aoki has been in Bali, and you know who else is in Bali? The same daddy that she exposed on social media. Y'all remember that, because we did the whole story on her sharing videos of her dad yelling at her, okay, on social media. So part of me is sort of like, wait, why did she go? I mean, she was with her father, because I vaguely remember seeing photos of them together. So maybe this was their way of reuniting. So this is the promo shot. So Aoki will be a part of this. Look, Aoki was in the news a few months ago too about some older man that she was dating. I want better for Aoki. She graduated from Harvard at a very young age. I want better for her. And she's modeling. I don't know what she's doing now, but she's been in Bali apparently for several months. And this has been the longest that she's been away from her mom. But I find it to be interesting that she was in Bali. Was she living with her father? I don't know. So the other issue, too, is the fact that Ming, who's been very close with her sister, they're only like a year and a half apart in age, says that she's not around as much anymore. She's living this life in another place. But she also mentions how they kind of grew apart growing up, because they started discovering that, they were not completely the same personality. So, there are differences, which I could see. But I am interested to seeing their dynamic once Aoki is on the show. But the first 2 episodes, we only see a FaceTime with Aoki. And her mom's just like, when are you coming home? So she's been away for like 6 months. Must be nice. Who's paying for all that? Again, probably her dad. I wonder if I guess she probably can't talk about it. Whatever happened to the lawsuit between Kimora and Russell? Russell was accusing her of moving millions of dollars that belonged to him. I mean, it hasn't stopped her from living a fabulous life. I need to dig up, because I know she bought Baby Phat. So I'm assuming she owns it exclusively. I don't know if he owns it as well. But yeah. Anyway, so episode 1, they're introducing us. We find out that Aoki is away. Fine. They also celebrate her son Wolfie's birthday. So that was actually, again, these are short, fun, light episodes. If you're looking for something easy to watch, as opposed to like a full hour drama of pre-produced nonsense, this is not that. You're getting to see her family life. You're getting to see her business life. You're getting to see some of the people that she calls friend. The first episode, Wolfie, she's throwing a party for Wolfie. At one particular point, Wolfie's in her office tasting muffins, cupcakes, and she's just like, okay, you got to try different ones. She's like, I just want the vanilla one. She's like, but you have to, I got you a whole assortment here. Try the different ones. So they're doing that. So then eventually, this is when we get to meet Kenzo, her 15-year-old that she had with Jaimon Honshu. I'm probably slaughtering the name. If I'm not, give me my props. So we get to see him, and that's also when we meet Gary Lee, the son that she adopted from Jamaica. I kind of want to know a little bit more about that story. Like, why did you go to Jamaica to adopt him? Was it like their connection? I wonder. So Kimora throws him this party where there's like a racetrack and things like that. So she's there. So very much in Kimora Lee fashion. Okay, everyone's gonna go race. She's gonna go race too. She's like, okay, I'm gonna put on this helmet. I'm gonna go in this go-kart and I'm gonna in heels and I'm gonna try. And she tries it a little bit. They pass her on the go-karts and she's like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. I'm never doing that again. Cute, light, fun episode. If I had to rate the first 2 episodes, I felt like it was solid. It wasn't fantastic. I felt like it was solid. A 6.5, maybe. Maybe a 7. Maybe a 7. But it's only the first 2 episodes. I think Kimora's show is very similar to what Denise Richards was trying to do with her now canceled E show. They're both on E, for those, because I know some of y'all are going to be in the chat, because Google is your friend. Where can I watch this? They also aired the episode on Bravo, and you can watch the full episode on YouTube as well. You're welcome. They're not paying me to tell y'all any of this stuff. They need to. Because obviously the advertising's not working. Okay? Pay for a time slot so then I'm obligated to say date, time, and place. All right. I'm not bitter. All right. Sidebar. Thank you to everyone that sent in gifts and ornaments. Remember I said I wasn't sure where the ornament went? Shout out to Angel. This is the ornament that she had made for us. Merry Christmas, Kempire. You know, our Real Housewives of Prisons memorabilia. So I put it on the tree. I already have a few ornaments from some of you that have sent some. Shout out to Valerie as well. And the candles. Hold on. I forgot who sent me this candle. Someone else sent me. Hold on, I'll say it on here. Good old scents. You sent me candles before. This is a good one right here. And there's natural soy wax, hand poured in San Diego, California. It's called Jingle Bells Good Old Saints. Oh, scents. Sorry. Matter of fact, I'll put this in front of me so you can scan to order. There you go. There you go. Free marketing. Free marketing. Scan to order. You're welcome. This smells good though. It smells like a Christmas tree, this one, Jingle Bells. And then she sent me Cozy Pie as well. Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate it. The P.O. box, I mean, you can still send stuff, but I canceled that P.O. box. And I'm gonna get a P.O. box where I can at least get on the train and get to it quicker than going to Staten Island. Because that's part of the reason why I always forget to go. I'm like, oh my gosh. At least if it's in the city, I can go, shoo, you know what I mean? All right. Episode 2. Okay, so they end episode 1 with Wolfie's birthday party. Wolfie, one thing I will say, Kimora Lee's genetics are strong. If you really pay attention, like all of those kids have her genes. Because I'm just like, oh my gosh. Even Wolfie, I'm like, that looks like the boy version of Kimora. But Ming Lee took Kimora's entire face. And she's just beautiful. She's also a model as well. So in episode 2, Kimora finally speaks and gets on FaceTime. Well, at least we get to finally see Aoki. And she's like, when are you coming home? And Aoki's like, oh, I don't know. And Aoki's definitely going to come home at some particular point. Because like I said to you before, she is on the promo for this damn show. Kimora back in the Fab Lane. So I know she will be there. I mean, they look gorgeous. But take a look at Ming. That suit, Ming, you better work. But literally, you better work. Here's the thing. Ming went to Coachella. Came back with all the wristbands because she was drinking and drugging, allegedly. They kind of talk about that too. Drinking and having a good old time. But they had a photo shoot that Monday, her and Kimora, for People Magazine's like Most Beautiful People. And they wanted to do a photo shoot with mother and daughter, and they were going to switch outfits, something that Ming wore before and something that Kimora wore before. But Kimora's just like, let's go. Because she was late and she was dragging. But Kimura, and this is where you kind of see like the spoiled side of Ming. But again, she grew up a certain lifestyle. And I know some of you might watch it and be like, she's a brat. In a way, I don't think she's a brat. Not like like Kiarna. She's a little bratty in this particular episode. But what I love that Kimura says, she's like, I'm trying to instill in them professionalism because Kimura did not grow up the way that they grew up. So she is still trying to allow them to live a fabulous life, but at the same time, teach them about professionalism, especially in the modeling world. And she's like, I came into the game with these super models. She's right. So she's seen things from a very different perspective, but she's also seen things from the perspective as a fashion brand owner. So her dichotomy of what she sees from the world of entertainment, because it's not even just the fact that she worked in fashion and she modeled. There's also the world of being in the music business and entertainment business. She also understands reality television. So like her perspective is just so different than you're going to get from anyone because she's seen it all. God only knows what she's seen. I'm surprised 50 Cent didn't get her in his documentary because she's seen everything. She ran in those circles with the Diddy of it all. Okay? It makes me wonder what she thinks about the whole Kim Porter and her passing and who might be involved. Just saying. She said things before. Not like literal things, but I think for the sake of the daughters, she doesn't say a lot. I wonder if we will see the daughters on the reality show, meaning Diddy's daughters on the reality show, because she really, when they're having proms and things like that, Kimura is very much involved in the twins' lives. So we shall see. All right, moving on. So Kimura's trying to instill professionalism with her daughter. Her daughter's there getting an IV because she was drinking and drugging at Coachella. Okay. And her mom's was like, you gotta go. We gotta go. We're late. We need to be on time. And she says, I'm trying to teach her professionalism. We also have a scene with Kimura and one of her good friends that now lives with her because the kids have always loved this woman. And when she would leave, they would hide her keys so that she couldn't leave. And now she lives with them. And she sits down, she has a good time with them. This is where they're eating the oysters, and they ask about her sex life because oysters are aphrodisiac. And she's like, there is no sex life for me. Wait, hold on. She said, add the crickets here. You're welcome. I just added it for you. So she's saying that she has no sex life. I'm guessing she got rid of that man that was going off to jail. I don't know if he went to jail. Did he go to jail? And what happened when you found out that he was married and he married you? Allegedly. I don't know. I'm just trying to keep up, y'all, with what's going on. And I wonder if she will talk about that. I also wonder if they will talk about Aoki and the drama that she had with her dad, Russell Simmons. I wonder. Have they done any press to promote this show? I haven't seen anything. And look, the only reason why I know, and probably the only reason why you know, is because of word of mouth. And now that I'm doing this recap, now you know. Yeah, Kimura, back in the Fab Lane, is back on our TV screens on Tuesday nights, the same night as Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. If you missed my Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap, I posted it up yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, the day before yesterday. Lord have mercy. Where did the week go? We're already on Friday. Lord. But happy holidays, guys. Happy holidays. Now time just it's speeding up on us. What else happens in episode 2 that I wanted to talk about? What was the basic gist? Mostly it was about her preparing for this People magazine shoot and her having the conversation with Aoki. She does talk a little bit more. This is the episode where we find out about Gary Lee, the son that she adopted from Jamaica. Oh, her boys wanted to get tattoos, but she's like, you're not getting tattoos. And then what they also do, for those that haven't watched her old reality show, they do flashback a lot to moments that she's talking to. Because I remember when she bawled her eyes out when Aoki and Ming got their hair straightened for the very first time. So now she's watching her sons and her son's friend get their ear piercing, because that was the stipulation. Like, okay, you can get a tattoo, but you can get a piercing. You can get your ears pierced. So she's sitting there trying to videotape them get their ear pierced and having, Kimora Lee extra reactions like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? Look, fine. Look, I feel like if you're looking for something light and fun to watch, this is a good option. This is definitely a good option if you're looking for just some brainless thing to watch. Okay. And as I said before, I feel like the now canceled Denise Richards show, where you're watching her life with her young kids that are grown up now, this is sort of the same thing. And a lot of people liked the Denise Richards show and they were surprised that it got canceled. I just think Kimora Lee, as a star herself, it's just she has star power. She has an interesting personality. She can carry a show. I can't say that Denise can carry a show in that way. Hence why I think that's why they probably canceled it. Maybe not. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there because, like I said, this was the first 2 episodes. I'm not sure if I will continue to recap it. You guys will let me know. I will base my time on whether or not you watch this recap. Bloop. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. Don't forget, you can also hear our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. Okay. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and your notifications are on so you don't miss out when we go live, when we have breaking news, which has been something that's happened a lot lately. I'm sure a lot of you are so happy that your notifications are on and working sometimes, right? Also, don't forget to let me know. I know you guys got your YouTube Unwrapped. Am I on your top list of people that you watch, and how many of my videos have you watched in 2025? I love it. And I love that you guys have been tagging me on IG at the Kempire because I've been reposting it. I love knowing that you guys are enjoying and watching all of the content. How many of my videos have you watched in 2025? How many videos have I done in 2025? Someone said that they watched 600 and something of my videos. That's a lot of videos in 1 year. So let me know. Shout out to our King's Guards. Shout out to our channel members. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. And for everything Kempire will be available in the description, including our sponsor for today's recap of Kimora back in the Fab Lane, Cash App. Okay, so be sure to check that out. And I will see you all in the next one. It could be Beverly Hills. It could be Sean Combs, The Reckoning. It'll probably be the latter, just because I'm more interested in unpacking that. It's 4 episodes, though, so stay tuned. All right, and I'm sure you guys want to call in and share your thoughts as well, right? Right. See, this is me giving you a heads up, so you have some time to go, okay, let me go watch it now. Who knows, though? I might go live later on today. If not, Saturday. Okay? All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great Friday. Bye, y'all.
Here we go now.